picture maybe why the NDC got it wrong.
Well, because when results start trickling in, Evans, one of the things about results, when they start coming, and if they're coming from your strongholds, you do a bit of projection also.
Yeah.
And so the projection sometimes is if I get this, then I'd win. So in the midst of the if and then and here I am actually inferring that that could be the reason. And so maybe the NDC may have gotten votes from the strongholds of the NPP and felt that the margins were small and that's favorable to them. But you see, the thing about election was, and I've always cited the example of the Kojo Smith and Fritz Barfus situation, where Kojo Smith, on the 8th of, in his pleadings at a court, said that on the 8th of December 2008, Fritz Barfus was on Adom FM conceding defeat, congratulating him. But it turns out that he did not win the election. He did not win because a lot of things would happen. So
because even Fritz himself had seen the votes possibly and thought, wow, but I'm sure it was marginal too.
Yes. So you see it and you think, oh, this is marginal. Okay, so it looks like I am losing out. So I'll give you a typical example. In the Ladadiko-Topon constituency, the MPP's candidate, Gerard Nyanyufio, so I was in touch with his campaign team, and they say, well, according to Gerard, the margins that are coming are huge. He does not think that he'll be able to close the margin. At that point in time, he's conceded. But in elections, you may think you cannot close the margin, and the magic happens somewhere. Yeah. You're gone.
It just need one vote to win. That's all it takes, and that's sometimes you have to be patient to the very end.
Exactly.
And it's the only reason why we'll be able to, make a projection based on what we do. I want to go to the Volta region where Ivy Setoji is joining us. There shouldn't be any quarrel over Volta region parliamentary, elections because you just know largely NDC, with the exception of the Ameru miracle, in there. And let's pull up a Volta regional map. Here we go. And by the way, this is Hohoi.
Hohoi, yes. So it used to be Hohoi North until 2012 when it changed to Hohoi. Then Hohoi South became Afajato South.
So here is it. There is
Bring it back.
Let's bring it back.
Yeah.
There's a picture. John Peter, we'll talk about it a bit more, but there's no controversy in here in the Volta region about who was won and who was lost. But let me bring in our correspondent Ivy Setoji, who is joining us to give us the numbers here. Ivy, so let's go to the numbers and let's settle it for those who are interested in how the Volta region has voted in the parliamentary elections. Hello, Ivy.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello. So in the Volta region, as you rightly said, Ketuno, for example, Aveji Bates was able to beat the Minister for Chieftaincy, a little over 5,000 there, and then that was a little close according to the residents. In Keta, too, the margin was large or big, as well as Anglon. But then what the residents also realized was that the figures or the numbers gotten by these people in these areas by the MPP have increased, according to them. In catching off too, the same thing happened. It was not too close. And now Ketu South, Mamaga Jifa Gomashi also won. I catch the NDC and then the NPP, that's the DC contestant where a lawyer.
This is the picture there that Ivy was trying to illustrate. Apologies for that bad connection there. Out of the constituencies that you have in that particular part of the country, the MPP has just one of it.
Just one. And look, Evans, you said it. If anybody had told you before election 2020 that the NPP stood a chance of winning a seat in the Volta region following the creation of the Oti region, now, it was in 2004 that the NPP won the then Nkwanta North constituency. Okay? And so that was the first time the NPP won a parliamentary seat in the Volta region, maintained it in 2008, lost it in 2012, came back in 2016 with Karachi East constituency, that's Jato's constituency. However, following the creation of the OT region, you would have imagined that the NPP's strength would remain in that region and not in the Volta region.
Yeah.
And then Amewu performs magic.
Yeah.
He wins it for the NPP.
This is the Amewu miracle.
5,000 votes.
Yeah, and for me, it's not the miracle. It's not so much. Well, it's in the victory, but it's also in the margin.
Yeah,
it's even more so for me in the margin than in the actual victory, because you were expecting him to win, because this is a historically an ironclad stronghold of the NDC in terms of parliamentary and presidential. If an NPP candidate was going to, make history, I was expecting to be on knife edge in terms of a few votes, not even 100, 10 or 20, or sometimes in some cases it boils down to one vote, right? Yeah. I was expecting to be that slim, right? But Amewu wins it quite handsomely. Almost 5,000 difference there. He pulls it by, which is significant. They're talking about 26,952 votes, right? That John Peter Amewu secures in Hohoe, as against the NDC's candidate, who was the overwhelming favorite going into the race, who has 21,821 votes.
You're looking at 5,131.
So 5,131. This, for me, this margin of victory by an NPP candidate in Hohoe, it is amazing. I mean, this is something that I guess political scientists need to study. I mean, seriously, you need to go in there and do a bit of a study and understand what the dynamics were. What is it that the people were thinking? But I'm also looking at, in the next 4 years, the retention will be key, right? I mean, this is an island of a sort. It's going to be, he finds himself up here alone, but if you look at the entire region, he's going to be sitting there alone. And I bet the NDC will have to do everything possible to take it back.
The NDC certainly will do everything possible to take it back. But, prior to the election day, voting day itself, you saw the NDC's Johnson Asiedu Nketiah showing up in the Volta region, describing Amewu as a good man, but good men go to heaven and not parliament. You remember that?
Yes.
You also realize that John Mahama went to Hohoe. In his final rounds in the Volta region, he went to Hohoe at the time. The reason was simple. The NDC's own polling showed that John Peter Amewu was a threat to the party's seat in the Hohoe constituency. What they believed they could do was to get the party bigwigs to galvanize the base, energize the base, so that they would turn out in their numbers and vote for them. Now, this is the point. President Akufo-Addo gets 14,000 in this constituency, so he doesn't win.
Yeah, he doesn't win.
He doesn't win.
But I can bet, and we'll look at a picture. Yeah. I will look at a picture. I can bet that because of Amewu, he would have improved his actual losing margin from 2016 and the actual votes.
He improved from 2016. He had about 5,000 or 6,000 in 2016.
Yeah. We can show that.
Yeah, let's show that. He's improved from 2016.
But this is important to try and digest this a bit more.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing this Hohoe digestion for years to come in terms of we want to go to the presidential in 2016.
Yeah.
So 2016, this was a situation in Hohoe. It's not showing because then the name was this is Volta region. So Volta you're talking about.
So that's Hohoe. There you have it. Hohoe here.
There we go. This is Hohoe. This is the presidential.
I told you 6,000.
6,869. So what's the story this year for 2020 in that same part of the country? For the presidential,
14,000.
That is a significant jump from 6,000 to 14,000.
Exactly.
Again, the Amewu factor.
That, no doubt, is the Amewu factor. And so that would tell you, and John Mahama in 2016 has 35,000 and it reduces to 33,000.
It would shrink.
It would shrink because then Akufo-Addo is improving. But this is the whole thing. And if you go to Hohoe right now, I think the NDC should also have realized, when you go to Hohoe, following the party primaries where Professor Margaret Kweku won, there were a lot of party members who were unhappy, even with her selection as the party's parliamentary candidate. Now, John Peter Amewu was DCE, later MCE from 2005 to 2009 when the NPP lost the election in 2008. He contested in 2004, polled 9,000. Now, until 2020, he was the NPP candidate to have had the most votes in the Hohoe constituency. So it tells you that this is somebody who's loved by the people.
Yeah.
And when he came in, and we did the first ballot box from Hohwe, speaking to all the people from Hohwe, many people will tell you that, look, I am not NPP, but I like JP, as they call him. I'm not NPP, but I like JP, as they call him. And I do know, and my sources tell me that at the presidency, there were instances they said, oh, the people are talking about sketch and blast. Why don't you ensure that they do, they do a purist vote for all of us?
Yeah.
But one thing was obvious. John Peter Amewu was the man loved by the people of Hohwe to become their MP. He had actually done a lot of campaigning on the fact that do not vote because of your attachment to the NDC. Vote for development. And the people of Hohwe
made their calculations.
Yes.
And a final point on this performance in the Volta region. Remember that on Sunday evening when we started election eve, we did some projections and said this year you have to perform better in your candidates in your opposing party stronghold to win the presidential race. We've already projected Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to win. Now it's playing out, and we saw the analysis show that I was going to pull this up shortly. We'll bring that up for you, that particular analysis that we did. But the MPP was on upward trajectory in the Volta region in terms of their performance. They were losing, but they were gaining on the NDC. And their best performance, was 17% of the votes in the Volta region for the 2016 elections. It's clear that trajectory possibly has continued, and which has fed into their eventual, as we've projected, Nana Addo to win tonight. Hohwe and Amewu's performance, I guess, is just best epitomizes that entire story for you.
Exactly, and one other place you can go, Evans, just to depict that is the Ketu North constituency, and I think we'll leave the voter in the Ketu North constituency. Watch this.
So this is Aveji. And Aveji is the deputy minority leader there.
And Kofi Jamesi.
The gap, I guess you want to say, has closed. James Aveji has lost ground a bit. Let's illustrate that by going to 2016 and see the story as it emerged there. He's dropped.
Because you recognize that in 2016, Jamesi put 15,000. And Aveji had 25,000. He increases, and that was about a margin of 10,000. Now it's reduced to 5,000. And if I were advising Aveji, I tell him the signs are beginning to show.
Step off the scene when applause is loudest. And again, our projection panned out. We said going into this year's elections in the Volta region, the momentum was on the side of the MPP in terms of the gains that they were making. We still expected the NDC to win, no doubt. But our point was, how many more votes can the NPP get from your opponent in his stronghold to add to the ones that you are guaranteed from your strongholds? I want to. So that clearly is what has panned out, as we told you on Sunday night with our analysis, and I'll pull that back up later when we begin to digest this a bit more for you to see. But I want to come to a place that we know very well here in Greater Accra.
Okay, sure.
Let's see the story as it had panned out here in Greater Accra. I want to pull that map for you, the Greater Accra map. Another swing region, always telling you who has won. I want to bring in, this is the pictorial image of Greater Accra right now, as it's panned out in parliamentary. My colleague Daniel Dadzi is standing by with the breakdown for us, so that we can begin to appreciate who has won what here and who may be in the lead to try and resolve this controversy over the parliamentary. Daniel, take it away.
Hi, Evan. So we have 31 seats out of the 34 seats in the Greater Accra region. And so far, if you look at the cursory tally, the NDC has 18 seats. The NPP has 13 seats. So I'll quickly take you through some of the more interesting ones. Of course, what happened at Ayawaso West Wogon has been trending on social media since yesterday. Lady Asera Mahassan retaining that seat for the governing MPP. Another one, of course, that we heard earlier was the Adentan seat. The communications director for the NPP, Yabuabinga Samoa, stepped aside after just one term. Adentan maintaining its reputation there as not retaining members of parliament. Mohammed Adamu Ramadan, of course, would have 2024 to either disprove or prove that particular theory. Amasaman will be interesting, Evans, for your analysis, because the NPP has not won there since 2004. and the NPP won that one for the first time in a number of years. That's the Amasaman constituency. Ponkataman